Boxing specialists have featured the most expected minutes from the forthcoming Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul battle, with Tyson going head-to-head Paul. In a new question and answer session, specialists have said something regarding the possible features from the impending battle in New York. The group was predominantly in support of Tyson, their cheers a commendation making a raucous air as Paul ventured onto the stage, just to be met with a tune of liquor. In the meantime, the previous undisputed heavyweight champion was welcomed like a vanquishing legend. At one point, a Jake Paul serenade began in the fan zone, provoking an irate reaction from the issue. Kid Paul advised the group in New York to hush up, adding that they ought to boo themselves. He contrasted the city with Mike Tyson, saying both were great quite a while back, and afterward offended the city. Regardless of Paul's various endeavors to incite Tyson during the press occasion, the boxing legend stayed unshaken and unflinchingly detached. Paul provoked Tyson, blaming him for requiring a menopause break to defer the battle, and addressing in the event that his stomach was all the while annoying him accordingly. Tyson nonchalantly answered that he felt much better now. You needed to go on your little menopause break and delay the battle. No doubt what might be said about that canine. I was prepared before you really wanted a little break. Your belly hurts still, I believe. I feel significantly better, currently feel worse. Found out if he was truly debilitated or just frightened to battle. Paul Tyson joked he was scared after gathering face to face at the finish of the question and answer session. Tyson gave Paul two cheerful pushes. The YouTuber turned fighter wasn't entertained by the jest. Rather, he pounded his chest and fought back with a serious glare, his demeanor steadfastly harsh. Paul seemed tense during the question and answer session and had before at night taken steps to kill Tyson. Paul communicated that while he cherished and regarded Mike Tyson, they were no longer companions. He pronounced that on November 15th, he would take Tyson out and demonstrate who the genuine victor was, calling Tyson old and expressing that he would train him like a child. In front of their fight in the not-so-distant future, Mike Tyson responded to an inquiry on Jake Paul's statement. In November, he and Paul will meet in the ring, denoting the previous undisputed heavyweight champion's return to proficient boxing. After almost 20 years, his last session finished in a retirement on his stool after 5 rounds against Kevin McBride. Paul let Tyson know that while everybody anticipated that he should be taken out, he wanted to leave a mark on the world by making it lights out time for Tyson. Rather, he recognized Tyson's cases that it would be his burial service and wake. Yet, in spite of his regard for Tyson, Paul underlined that they were no longer companions. He promised to take Tyson out and see who might truly be left standing. Everyone individuals in my remarks. Expressing see his power, he will get code. Individuals are hollering at me in the occasion. Yet, what happens when I put this man to bed? This isn't a joke. He's maxim that it will be my burial service. He's platitude, it will be my wake. He will kill Jake Paul, these things, and that is the reason I love Mike. I regard him, yet we're not companions any longer until November 15th. I'm taking this mother out. During the public interview, have Ryan Clark asked Tyson how he felt hearing Jake Paul say we will see who's dead, and whether it caused him to embrace a mentality of understanding that this youthful executioner needed to take him out. Tyson answered, entirely addressing is he actually a youthful executioner. Tyson expounded by bringing up that a YouTuber was going to battle the best contender who at any point lived. He recognized that Paul could have confronted rival on with comparative goals, yet underscored that the truth would be different this time. Tyson unhesitatingly expressed that once he handled a punch, the battle would be finished, and Paul would wind up running. Tyson likewise demanded he is fit to battle and that he has gotten back to preparing subsequent to being compelled to down devices on his physician's instructions. Tyson remarked on the battle, affirming that it was working out and that he was completely ready. He recognized confronting a minor mishap because of disease, yet guaranteed that he had recuperated and was feeling great. Tyson added that he was prepared and would allow his activities to talk when the opportunity arrived to battle. It's occurring. All of us are here, all here. How arranged are you to take Jake Paul out? I'm exceptionally prearranged. I'm extremely prearranged. I had a applause. I had a little difficulty. I became ill, yet I'm better. I feel quite a bit better than again. A UFC legend has recently released how much cash Mike Tyson will procure for taking on Jake Paul. The conflict was initially planned for July 20th at Arlington, Texas at NT Arena, yet in June it was formally reported that the session had been required to be postponed endlessly. It was accounted sometime Thereafter, that Tyson versus Paul would happen on November 15th and be broadcast live on Netflix. In an explanation, fellow benefactor of most important advancements, Nisa Badarian, said our group hosts work determinedly with all gatherings required to reschedule this fantastic battle to a date that guarantees both Jake Paul and Mike Tyson are completely ready with equivalent preparation time, as well as permitting us to keep the occasion at NT Arena amidst the cowpoke season. The Darien further added, we value the extraordinary devotion, cooperation, and adaptability of our accomplices at Netflix. And at NT Arena, Paul versus Tyson is the most cross-generational game in history. And we are focused on giving fans overall this extraordinary evening of boxing live universally on Netflix. We anticipate seeing everybody on Friday, November 15th for a standoff that will be discussed for a long time into the future. UFC contender Henry Tudo expressed recently that Tyson will get $20 million for taking on Paul during an appearance on his digital recording with Kamaru Usman. So Hudo said, I mean, you understand what I regard Uncle Mike, yet it clearly takes two to tango. I feel like there is presumably a great payday for Mike. He's likely going to end up making near around 20 feast, and he's going to turn 58 years of age. Daniel Corm, a previous UFC champion, expressed that Paul and Tyson are in an impossible-to-win situation. He said it could destroy you in the event that he simply thumps on Mike Tyson. He's in a hopeless scenario. I don't realize that he thoroughly considered this one, however much he likely ought to have been since. In such a case that you go out there and you just thump the __ out of Mike Tyson, everyone will be truly distraught at you. I mean truly frantic as Jake Paul gears up for his November 15th session on Netflix against heavyweight legend Mike Tyson. He set the stage with a strong declaration about his expected profit from the occasion. I'm here to make $40 million and take out a legend, Paul said during Sunday's question and answer session at Enthusiast Fest in New York City. Paul likewise savaged Mike Tyson by offering demonizing remarks about his local New York City at Sunday's occasion. Paul embraced the spotlight, energizing the sneers from the New York City crowd with his striking cases that he would shock the world when he and Tyson go head-to-head in the ring. In the meantime, Tyson kept a casual disposition while answering inquiries presented by ESPN expert Ryan Clark, who directed the public interview. During their face-off, the previous heavyweight champion even enjoyed a carefree push towards Paul when inquired as to why he would consent to a battle against Paul. In spite of their 30-year age distinction, Tyson answered, in light of the fact that I can, who else can make it happen yet me? Who else is he going to battle to get this going? We just got to pay attention to the reality. When the two enter the ring in November, he will give Tyson his end. Tyson and Paul were set to conflict on July 20th, yet the 58-year-old needed to pull out as a result of an inconvenient ulcer discharge up in his place. Paul ventured into the ring with uncovered knuckle, battling title champion Mike Perry, getting a triumph by 6th-round technical knockout and lifting his expert record to 10-1. The 27-year-old is persuaded that venturing into the ring with Tyson is a vital stage toward accomplishing his fantasy about turning into a boxing champion. Albeit many might have misgivings of Paul's possibilities, his capacity to draw in a gigantic crowd stays certain. The November session vows to be as charming as could be expected. What strikes a chord when you picture Mike Tyson in the ring? It's his unstable power and constant hostility, a hurricane of punches that opposes age or time away from the game. To this end, Tim Bradley Jr. places his confidence in Tyson to convey a knockout triumph as the American symbol. Ventures into the ring with Jake Paul. The battle has lighted furious discussion among fans, with many scrutinizing the insight of having Tyson, whose age and reflexes are viewed as declining, fight. A lot more youthful folk concerns have been intensified by late misfortunes for Iron Mike, including a flight occurrence and ulcer discharge. Up in spite of these concerns, Bradley Jr. at 40 has an opposite perspective, demanding Tyson can possibly get a triumph suggestive of his superb years. What's behind this intense expectation? In a new visit with Acebox Television, Bradley Jr. recommended that a 2-minute round would allow the previous heavyweight champ an opportunity to release his full wrath. Tyson, with a record of 506, could have Paul, who remains at 101, stuck against the ropes, conveying rebuffing body shots and overpowering him with sheer influence. He said Mike Tyson can possibly take this man out. You realize that the influence is the last thing that leaves you. This is Mike Tyson. We're discussing 2 minutes. That is everything necessary. He can get the knockout, take Disney Kid the damnation out. Albeit many have Tyson arising successful in their expectations, there's an obvious worry about the chance of him confronting a knockout loss. The previous boss shows up fundamentally decreased from his heyday and with confusions. For example, sciatica hip medical procedure and the difficulties of keeping up with endurance for an expert session questions definitely emerge. UFC star Michael Chandler shares this fear and vision, assuming Bradley Jr.'s forecast were flipped around. Chandler at 38 made a stride back from examining issue Kid's last session with Mike Perry, where he had a 20 pounds weight advantage and stood almost 4 in taller than his rival. He told Fortinet, "Now Mike Tyson is 30 years more seasoned. Mike Tyson's around 60 and Jake's around 30. I love Mike Tyson. No one needs to see Mike Tyson get taken out yet. Everyone needs to see Mike Tyson get Jake Paul and take him out." The UFC contender has acquired understanding from seeing Nate Diaz and Ben Askren tumble to Paul. Mike Tyson at any point face a comparative result. The truth will surface at some point. In the meantime, we realize that Teddy Mapbook directed the development of a youthful Mike Tyson, aiding the change of the 58-year-old into the contemporary boxing symbol. The 68-year-old, however, has disregarded Iron Mike with regards to referencing the best ability he has at any point teamed up with Tyson, and Mapbook started cooperating right off the bat in Tyson's vocation, with a mentor regulating his development from the ages of 12 to 15. He has likewise worked together with notable individuals including Shannon Briggs, Tim Bradley, and Michael Mower. Anyway, Mapbook, in his discussion with The Ring, has moved his concentrate away from Tyson and the other three men, picking rather to envoy Wilford Bennett as his champion ability. He said, "Some of the time you go to the foundation grants and one film wins every one of the honors. What do you going to do? That would be Bonnett's. Any individual who could beat Roberto Duran among numerous other incredible contenders. That is a very decent resume." I would agree. Bonnett's, generally speaking, was the bundle. He was a unique contender in the wake of ruling the heavyweight division all through his prime. Tyson is perhaps the best heavyweight of his age yet. Going ahead, it will be fascinating to see how the veteran does when he gets back to the ring. As the battle among Tyson and Paul, booked for November 15th, moves closer, the two warriors will get down to business at a news gathering on Sunday. In a new meeting, he announced that he was feeling perfect and promised to overcome Paul. When they ultimately square up in the ring, he said, "I'm anticipating going head-to-head with Jake Paul at FanFest in New York City. The commencement is back on. I'm feeling perfect and anticipating taking out Jake Paul on Netflix on Friday, November 15th at AT&T Arena in Texas." Paul, who is 27 years of age, depicts his fight with Tyson as a blessing from heaven. He doesn't anyway plan to back off on his legend. Paul has guaranteed him that it will be a bad dream for the carefully prepared champion, he said, subsequent to eating Mike Perry as a tidbit. "I'm all set for the Vitally on Friday, November 15th to battle the greatest, baddest fighter at any point. Is a blessing from heaven for me, yet it will be a bad dream for Mike Tyson. It's cool to be highlighted at Devotees Fest, close by the absolute greatest names in sports. And I anticipate conveying a show the fans will not fail to remember on Friday, November 15th." Following a 19-year break, Tyson's revisitation of the ring highlighted his emphasis on private and expert interests. In the meantime, Paul appeared to have allowed his energy to get the better of him, inciting fans to address whether he's uncovering an excessive weakness, notwithstanding his new triumph over Mike Perry. As the profoundly expected session against Tyson moves nearer, Paul may be feeling the heaviness of confronting a symbol. When Tyson entered the public interview, he was met with a loud applause, while Paul decided to defy the crowd with a more disobedient demeanor. Paul, feeling contentious, shuddered at the Ace Tyson gathering and told the group over and again to quiet down in remarks that chime his generally sure demeanor. The issue Kid, a conceited ally of previous president and long-term New York City occupant Donald Trump, proceeded to call new